Good morning, Nigerians. Good morning to you from wherever you are watching all across the world. Welcome to Nigerian Democracy live studio of independent television. Beautiful Saturday morning. Nigerians are excited and expectant about today. One day we've all been waiting for in the last couple of years in terms of preparations, in terms of activities, in terms of events, in terms of actions, all geared towards making today a huge success. Today has finally come, and we understand that people are trooping out, people are filing out. We were told yesterday there will be a lockdown from 12 midnight till 6 p.m. this evening, but as we have already, there's been a window where people can actually go to their voting centers to ensure that they're able to cast their vote for the candidate of their choice. This election has been defined with so many adjectives as a watershed, as a defining moment. For some people, it's not about political parties, it's about capacity, it's about individuals and what they can deliver. This election is very, very key to Nigeria's progress. We've seen all the reactions that have trailed it across the world. It's a reaction that shows how much the world believes in Nigeria. In the last couple of days, we've seen Nigerians from the diaspora pouring into the country to come and participate in this election. It shows to you how much of followership, how much of commitment, how much of dedication that this election has attracted in the last couple of days. So we're looking forward to see how it pans out. As far as the election is concerned, we're here to update you up to the minute on how the election is going down, not just across Edo State, where we already have all our teams spread across all the 3 senatorial districts in Edo State. All the local governments will be covered, all the polling units, all the wards will be covered, and we'll be giving you blow-by-blow account up to the second to help you make sense of how the election is going down, not just in Edo State, but across the Federation. Well, a whole lot of stuff have been coming out in the last couple of days. There is no doubt that Mr. President is committed to this election. And one thing that has come out clearly is the fact that Mr. President wants to give us a legacy that we'll all be proud of, for which he will be remembered for. I made bold to say that because we've seen some stories that have been trending in the last 24 hours. We will be talking about all of those stories as we get into the nitty-gritty of Nigerian Decides on independent television. My name is Sonny Duke Okosun. It's a delight to be part of this epoch-making event. Our panelists on the first set of our discussion today, I'd like to thank very specially the following who are here already, and in spite of the inconvenience, but as a statement of their commitment to the Nigerian project, they made it here to the studio pretty early. Let me thank very especially for my extreme left, Barrister Alakwe Umbanefo. Is a legal practitioner, a constitutional lawyer, public affairs commentator, notary public. Thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah, Duke, thank you very much.
We also have with us the immediate past chairman of the NBA Benin branch, Barrister Pius Oiwo. Thank you for joining us.
It's my pleasure to be here. Thank you for being part of this event.
We also have with us in the studio Professor Anthony Ijore from Novena University. Prof is always here with us over the years on a day like this. Prof, thank you for coming on the program.
It's a pleasure to be here.
Okay, expectations are high, but let's quickly look at the foundation for this conversation, which has to do with the presidential system of government which Nigeria has adopted for some years now. How has it really fared in terms of meeting the yearnings and aspirations of the people? But whether we like it or not, it has come to stay for now. But let's get started on that plank. Barrister Lakwe, let me get started with you. The presidential system of government is the system that we practice and have been practicing, and we will continue to practice for some time to come. How has it fared in terms of impacting on the lives of the people as a system of government? I'm not talking about political parties, I'm not talking about individuals, but as a system of government, quickly.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, as a system of government, looking at where we adopted this system of government from, especially from the United States of America, you know, it has fared well in the West because the Western world has always dealt with this kind of government because they believe in the rule of law, and they believed on the institutions that are working very, very well to ensure that the system of government works very, very well. And I have not seen anything wrong with this system of government. The only problem we're having in Africa, not only in Nigeria, is that so many factors are actually slowing it down in Africa. With special reference to Nigeria, for this system of government to work in this part of the continent, it means that we must have a perfect institution where rule of law will be allowed to prevail. A system whereby you allow political parties and politicians to will everything to their personal interest and to will everything to their party's interest. It makes everything very cumbersome. And in Nigeria, for instance, we have our own peculiar problems. We have the issue of religion, we have the issue of tribe, we have the issue of ethnic group. We have fought the civil war some years ago, and we discovered that even about 50-something years after that war was fought, Nigerians have not still forgotten about that particular war. We have to develop a spirit of forgiveness. And again, I respect Yakub Gowon, who after that war said there was need to implement the 3 R's: reconciliation, rehabilitation, and
reconstruction.
And reconstruction, but unfortunately, that did not sink.
Okay.
Well, if it has sunk, by now we ought to have reconciled to ourselves and then forget about what transpired then. That is what has been a major issue in this election, because a particular candidate came from a particular part of the region, and a particular part of the region is also feeling whether these people have actually returned back to the basis. Can they be trusted? Would they be trusted with power and all that? But in all, for the first time in the history of Nigeria, we have seen a candidate in this country who has the will to manage the affairs of his fellow citizens and the will to deliver.
Okay.
And a few days ago, somebody was saying that since Nigeria, since independence, have never gotten, and that is Kuka. You are a very good friend.
Yeah.
Bishop Kuka was saying that since independence, Nigeria has not gotten a candidate or a president who is actually willing to rule. That all the presidents who have gotten since independence were people that came to power either by accident of history, or by accident
they were compelled, or forced, or appealed to.
Yeah, appealed to, and all that.
Yeah.
So, but for the first time in the history of Nigeria, we are having a candidate who is willing to manage the affairs of this country.
Well, if you ask me, I think that all the candidates, there are 18 of them that are participating in this election. They have come out willfully to participate in the election, because some of them, they started planning for years, years and years back.
Some of them the 5th time.
They've been planning over the years to be to contest this election. But let's leave that for a moment. Let me get your take on this, Barrister Iwo, on the presidential system of government.
Yes, you will realize that though it is said that the presidential system of government is very expensive, like we have seen it over the years, particularly with the preparation for this 2023 election. But we must tell ourselves the truth that it is the system that guarantees participation of all in ensuring that we are involved in the governance of this country. And it has fared well for us as a nation, particularly when we realize the fact that as Nigerians troop out today to vote in the presidential candidates, the president, whoever is going to emerge as the president of this country, the same election is going on simultaneously for those of the House of National Assembly, and then, of course, who are going to, of course, man the other arm of government, which is the legislative arm of government. And I think this is one thing that we must look and consider as worthwhile for our nation, Nigeria. Because the truth must be told too, and must be mentioned, that as a system of government, of course, the legislature has the role, constitutional role, of checking the executive. And then this election is going on simultaneously, and then people coming out to decide who those that are going to represent them in the Senate and then in the federal houses of representatives in this country. And then when we consider our participation and then what the various candidates have on the table, of course, we'll be able to know and then see what the candidates are coming to give us at the end of the day. But again, like I said, it is a very expensive system of government, which was borrowed, of course, adopted from the United States of America, like my brother here said, and then it's a system that guarantees participation of all, and then government by all standards, particularly the Independent National Electoral Commission that has, of course, put everything in place towards ensuring that Nigerians come out today to decide those who are going to represent us at the two chambers of the National Assembly and then the presidency too, would be doing well in ensuring that we sustain our democracy. The democracy that we now enjoy, that we've enjoyed over the time, we may have our major challenges. Of course, the successive administrations since 1999 have not done so well, particularly recently. And then Nigerians have gone through thick and thin, and then we've suffered. Nigerians have gone through turbulent period. And of course, this is an opportunity for Nigerians to come out again, to take their destiny into in their hands, like you mentioned at the preliminary to this discussion. This is a time for us as a nation to take our destiny in our hands. We do not have any other country but Nigeria. And then you will realize that, like we were discussing a few minutes ago, many Nigerians have trooped out of this country. Many have left the shores of this country. And then in recent times too, we realized that so many persons from our brothers from diaspora came into this country because they want to be part of history. And then proudly we are here, and then as a station, and then as individuals and as a nation, we are contributing our quota towards ensuring that we get it right this time around. I must mention quickly that, yes, it is not conclusive to commend President Muhammadu Buhari to say that, oh, he has been able to bring in to ensure that there is sanity in the electoral process. Let us wait at the end of the day to determine, to give him, to rate him. Okay. Because we are just starting the
Yes, after the outcome of the election.
Yeah, exactly. That is the point I want to quickly make.
All right, Prof, has Nigeria fared better under the presidential system of government compared to the parliamentary system of government?
Yes, you see, I think the basic thing which every Nigerian is subscribing to is freedom. You know, freedom of choice, freedom of speech, though that one has some reservations, you know, but the beauty of it is that the people decide what type of government, you know, they want to run, they prefer to run the affairs of the nation. And to that extent, I think is kind of a beauty compared to military regimes where some military lunatics will just from nowhere take over government, you know, and start singing the military and songs and all that. And from nowhere, they take over, and any person can become the leader of the country, you know. And so, by that, I think it's not the best. I think Nigerians are happy. In fact, people have looked forward to this election today, and because of the beauty of democracy. And so individuals can protest, you know, if things are not going well, which will not happen in the military regime. Individuals can, you know, voice their say in certain issues in the nation they think is not in their interest, and all that and all that. And so that makes it very, very interesting. There's nothing as good as you have your PVC, the power to decide who governs you and all that. And so I think these are some of the beauty, the beauty of having democracy in this country. And it makes us also become a part of the civilized world. Because if you are not running a democratic system of government, there's that disjointment. You know, you cannot be seen as part of the world where people decide who governs them. So, and as a result, we are respected in the Committee of Nations. And by so doing, we can flow with other civilized countries of the world. And that is why you see, before this election took place today, since 1 month ago, many international observers are already in the country, ensuring that the election goes on, smoothly, free and fair, so that they can also play their own role. Because we are seen to be part of the civilized world. So to that extent, I think democracy is the best thing that has happened to this country, though we still have some flaws, in running the democratic system of government. But all the same is the best, because there's no system that is perfect. Even in the US, the election that took place between Biden and the rest of, we saw what happened. It was not easy. Even the country we are copying from, they had issues. So not to talk of us that are still germinating in terms of democratic system of government. I think overall, I think is the best thing that has happened in this country, because people can express their feelings. There's freedom of speech. The press are freer to write reports that reflects the feelings of the people. I think is the very best thing that has happened to this country.
Fantastic. If you just joined us, you're on to Nigerian Decides live studio of independent television, looking at the 2023 election. Well, this is not a kind of program. Basically, we designed this program to help you follow the election as it's unfolding all across the country, from the 3 senatorial districts of the country, and then, of course, keeping tabs on what is happening in other parts of the country. I know that yesterday, electoral materials were being moved to the respective locations where they are needed, and we expect that today the electors will be out to participate in the election. So we'll go straight to look at some of the issues that have really been on the front burner in the last 24 hours. Very topical. We've seen the deployment of about 3 police commissioners to Imo State, and that's very, very significant. We've also heard about a legislator in Rivers State who was caught with close to $500,000. We've also heard about another story from Lagos where someone was arrested by the EFCC with about 32.4 million naira cash, new naira notes. Those are the notes we've been crying in the last couple of days that are not available. People can't have access to them, but someone has stockpiled it somewhere, hoping to deploy it for this particular election. That's really, really disturbing. Yeah, it would have been most disturbing if he wasn't caught, but it shows that there are structures in place to really correct all of these things and ensure that it is reduced to the barest minimum. We can't say here that the structures will help to eradicate it completely, but it will reduce it to the barest minimum. Let's get talking with the challenge of insecurity as it relates to this election. I'm sure that's not unconnected with the reason why the IGP deployed 3 police commissioners to Imo State. Barrister Alako, you want to start off on that?
Yeah, so what's your question?
Yes, the deployment of 3 commissioner of police to Imo State. Just one state, 3 police commissioners.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I feel that that was the right step in the right direction. The IGP does not want to be taken unawares. For quite some time, in fact, since the inception of Hope Uzodimma as the governor of Imo State, the issue of security challenges have been in Imo State.
Okay.
And probably there are so many factors that led to that. First of all, the first factor was how he came to power. And the whole nation was shocked.
Okay, but all of that is in the past now. Is in the past now. Let's talk about the impact of 3 commissioner of police.
Yes.
The
point I want to make is that the issue of insecurity in Imo State has been a major issue before this election.
Yeah.
And the issue of unknown gunmen killing innocent citizens and burning police stations and INEC facilities in Imo State has already been on the news almost on a daily basis. And the issue of IPOB and the issue of Simon Ekpa giving orders to the Eastern region not to participate in this election, and the issue of the people being informed that if you come out to vote, you'll be killed and all that. There have been so much threats, not only in Imo State, in all the eastern part of the region. And if the IG has given 3 of police commissioners to Imo State, I expect that he does so in the other eastern region. The fact was that, like we earlier said, this government of Muhammad Buhari, they are trying to do all they can to ensure that this election becomes seamless, becomes free, and especially in these areas where Imo State is seen as a flashpoint of insecurity. They want to ensure that the people they are assured that they can go out and vote and go back to their house and without any problem. And I feel that it's a step in the right direction because we wouldn't be learning geology and not after the earthquake. There's need to make sure that you nip it in the bud and ensure that if there will be casualties, that is very, very limited. And if it's possible, there's need to also avoid casualties as far as today is concerned. And I feel the IG has done very well by moving those guys down. If they have all it takes to work and ensure that it's a free, fair, and keep the election in Imo State.
Okay. Master, you want to add something to that?
Yes, I sincerely want to differ from what my brother here has said. Deploying 3 commissioners of police to a state. These commissioners of police are in the same strata, on the same level as senior police officers. Of course, we've not been told that one gives instruction to the other or one takes instruction to the other. And having them deploy 3 commissioners of police to a state sends a kind of message that, of course, the state itself is one that can be divided into maybe senatorial districts.
3 senatorial districts.
Of course, each commissioner of police manning each of these. Rather, what I had expected was a situation where you deploy more armed men to a place because of the security challenges that state has. Of course, Imo has been in the front burner in terms of insecurity within the last couple of months or years. In fact, recently I'm aware that, and we watched it on telly, that the police did their retreat, their security retreat there. The IG was there and some of the top knots in the Nigerian police. And one would expect that something positive will come out of such a discussion, such a gathering of police high chiefs in such a place. But sincerely, I must say that having such presence of just 3 commissioners of police, I would have expected ordinarily to that, okay, if they had told us an assistant inspector general of police to lead the commissioner of police, just as they did in some other states, that police commissioners were deployed out of their states, and then within, for instance, in Edo, and as it is done in other states too, DPUs are deployed or redeployed from their various divisional police stations, so that you have a flagrance of new persons and then ideas in such an area. That is what we should be talking about, and not having 3 commissioners of police in a state. But again, we must tell ourselves the truth that the East has had a lot of challenges, like my brother has identified. And one would have expected that over time, we would have had a security summit to identify what the problems are in this area. My brother had talked about the emergence of hope in Uzodinma. Why I do not want to subscribe to that, because of course we do not take the laws into our hands. We had earlier on started our discussion about the problems, whether the presidential election, the presidential system of government is faring well for our nation or not. We have talked about the fact that it is expensive, yes, but we must also tell ourselves the truth that as a system of government, the actors, particularly those who are at the top echelon of of government have not also done well. They have not respected their oaths of offices. And that is not good for us at all. A system whereby the executive would not want to respect the resolution of the National Assembly does not help us as a nation at all. A system whereby the executive will not respect the orders, valid orders of the courts, particularly a Supreme Court, does not fare well for us as a nation. So these are some of the challenges, these are some of the problems that we have as a nation. And it is becoming a kind of a problem and a threat to our democracy, because the system of government itself, which ought to guarantee a check and balance, because that is the whole essence of having such a system of government. The executive is there, they have their role to play, the legislature has its role to play, then the judiciary has its role to play. The judiciary's function is to ensure that we have, they interpret laws, and then they interpret laws and then make by way of judgment and then orders and rulings. But unfortunately, those who are supposed to respect such orders that are made by the courts do not respect them. And that does not augur well for us as a nation. It threatens our democracy, and it is not good for us. So we must look at it from this perspective, and then moving forward, so that we know what every arm of government should respect the other arm of government. And then the Constitution, which is the foundation of every arm of government, the Constitution which has given or assigned duties and powers to every arm of government, knows that once you do things in this manner, of course, to avoid anarchy, this is what should be done. Okay. We do not want to see ourselves